Hey guys, happy Sunday. A little bit later tonight. I got to spend some time with Levi this afternoon, so you guys had to wait, and I apologize for that. But it's kind of like sorry, not sorry, um, but anyway, hey, been doing some thinking about yesterday's action down there in Nebraska, and this morning, this afternoon, even just a little bit before I started this, but want to tell you that the more I think about yesterday, the more encouraged I am. And not that I was discouraged yesterday, but I just when I think about a lot of those matches, we were in a lot of those matches. Of the 9 bouts, I think we won 2 and lost 7. But of the 7 that we lost, outside of 41 and 74, which we gave up by fall, the rest of them were decisions. And man, there were winnable matches. There were matches that at some point we were in the match and had a chance to win, and we didn't. And so um, we just and that just kind of it encouraged me. You have the number 9 team in the country, and we win all 5 of those matches, and we win the duel 22-19. If we win any number of those matches, it's certainly different. So it's a different outcome. So when you look at that, we were we're in striking range. We're in striking range with a month left to go in the season. All right, for a lot of you guys, your season will be done probably next week, either probably on February 6th after the Sioux City Open. For the guys that make the qualifying team, you guys will train for 2 extra weeks before we head down to Fremont on the 19th and 20th. So we are, it's hard to believe, but you got 1 month left of wrestling, regular season wrestling. So, and we are close to where we want to be. We're not there yet, and that was evident yesterday. But hopefully you walk away from that thinking, if I would have pulled the trigger a little bit more, all right, if I would have pulled the trigger a little bit more, I might have been able to do something and win that match yesterday. So I'm encouraged by that, and we have some thoughts as to what we need to do this week to prepare for, in my opinion, probably a better team in Morningside. So, we'll see what happens next week, but yeah, the focus this week is going to be on pulling the trigger because I just felt like we didn't do that enough. I don't know if we were just why we were tentative, but we were tentative, and it cost us some matches. So I want you to be able to trust your training, believe in your workout partners so that when you step on that mat, you are ready to go, and your one job is to score points. You just score points like we did a couple weeks ago. So I want to read to you out of First Peter. And the book of First Peter is written by the Apostle Peter, who was like Jesus' right-hand man. And he writes to this church, and it's written to a church of Jews and Gentiles, and they're probably, based on some of the commentaries that I read, they are a church that is being prosecuted. All right, so they're believers and they're being unjustly treated because of their faith. All right, and throughout the book, they're encouraged to keep the faith and to cling to Christ, cling to that thing that has given them hope. And there's a lot of crossover with that in kind of what we're doing in the sport of wrestling. So I want you to think about this. What do you do when you are dealing with trials, when you're dealing with things that are frustrating to you, that anger you, that leave you feeling uncertainty? All right, especially you guys that are dealing with an injury, a nagging injury. If you are dealing with personal situations that are causing you to be uncertain, if you are dealing with a technical thing that is frustrating you, I can't figure it out. What do you do in those times? All right. So it is in those times, and there's a couple of quotes that I heard. It's in those times that confusion reigns and contentment wanes. All right. So in those times, I'm confused, and my focus becomes on negative, and I begin to lose hope because I'm consumed with the negative. All right. Also, during those times, questions arise and prayer subsides. So when in those times, I begin to ask questions, and I've talked to a couple of you guys about this. When you're going through a hard time, do I ask the question, why is this happening to me, or do I ask the question, what can I do about it, or what can I learn from this? And so, in those times, what do I lean on? In the book of First Peter, talks a lot about the perseverance of faith, to keep believing. It is in those darkest times that our collective light shines the brightest. Okay, so I'm gonna read for you out of First Peter, chapter 1, verse 13, and I want you to pay attention to what Peter says. He says, "Therefore, prepare your minds for action. Keep sober in spirit. Fix your hope completely on the grace to be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ." So in those times when I'm dealing with, like, I'm frustrated, or I'm angry, or I'm uncertain, you are to prepare your minds for action. Keep sober in spirit. Keep humble. Keep your mind clean. Keep focusing on the right things, but prepare your minds for action. And that struck me, because we didn't do that on Saturday. There wasn't a lot of action there. There was some action, but it wasn't good action. It was just moving to move. It wasn't purposeful. And what we have really tried to do for you guys is to create a system where you develop a process, and each of your processes are different. But I want you to think about what that process is, focus on that process this week, and prepare your minds for action. Get ready to pull the trigger. And that, you learn that in the sport of wrestling, but that mentality goes with you. It's going to go with you in your workplace. It's going to go with you in your marriage. It's going to go with you as a father. Prepare for action. We are men who, we are trying to get you to become men who reject passivity. And part of rejecting passivity is seeing when something needs to get done and being courageous enough to do it. If that means my responsibility is to score points, that's to do that. If my responsibility is to take care of my family, then I do that. If my responsibility is to excel in my job, then I do that. We don't wait for someone else. We pull the trigger. And I want you to think about that. I want you to really focus on your process. Don't lose faith. Don't become confused. Persevere. And man, I'm excited for this weekend. We're wrestling again at home. It's going to look very much like we did last weekend, or on the 16th, the format of it. But it's a chance for us to go out there and see where we're at, put some things into play, and then pull the trigger. So you're going to hear us saying that a lot this week. All right. Hey, hope to see you tomorrow morning at Monday at 10 o'clock in the garage, the Boltman Center. I know Coach Corver and I are pretty excited about maybe unpacking some stuff from last week, but hope to see you there. Make an effort to do better than you did last week. All right, you do that, and life is good. All right, I'm out.